Hello everyone, welcome to chapter 103 on my RLDR Custom Creations YouTube channel. And we are going to be doing something really different in this chapter today, something I've been putting off for a long time. I am going to install these fork seals in the front end of my 91-125. So if you want to see how that's done, all you have to do is stay tuned. Yes, I have been putting this job off for a long time. These fork seals, I don't even want to admit how old they are, but they're still fresh in the pack. There's no holes in it, and they feel really good yet, so I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to put them in. To get ready to do this, I basically took the front wheel off already, which is here, and this tire is flat. And when it's flat, you can see all the cracks in it. So a new tire is going to go on as well. I don't know if I'll get that. It won't be all in this video because I won't get that far. But the fork seal is going to go in. So like I said, I took the tire and everything off. One of the things you want to do when you do a job like this is be very precise when you take things apart. Keep track of everything, put everything in containers where it belongs, measure the fluid that comes out. All that stuff's important. So I'm going to basically take the fork leg. For the video, I'm just going to change the one on this side here, and I'm going to take it out of the bike and set up a vise and put it in there, and then I'll bring you back when we're starting to take the fork apart, because I figure the wheel and stuff, you'll figure out how to get that off. So yeah, and I loosened the bolts already, and whoops, come on, that should come out easier than that. There we go. I also loosened this while it was in the bike, because that I think is easier. I don't have a very good vise set up for this, so we'll see how it goes. But you can see that seal and everything is done. Now, these are Showa forks. I'm not even sure what size they are, but once I start taking things apart, I'll let you know. Okay, I'll be back when we're taking things apart. Well, the fork is out and it's on my workbench. Just a couple things to point out. It's important, I think, to have a fairly clean place to work. I managed to clear off about 60% of my workbench, so that should be all right. I tried to get out a lot of the things that I would need, and I think I have most of it there. Various metric tools. And I know there'll be other things I'll need to get yet, but the first thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to take this outside, and I'm not going to show you this, but I've got my can of brake cleaner there, and this fork is fairly dirty, and I want to get it nice and clean before I start disassembly. So I'm going to take it outside. I don't like to do that inside anymore, cleaning things in winter in my shop with brake cleaner. Tend to walk funny after that, so we're going to take it outside in the brisk cool air, and we're going to clean it off, and the next time you see this thing, it will be clean. Well, I'm in from the cold, and the leg is a lot cleaner. I'll probably still need to do some cleaning as I disassemble, but this is a great first start. Now, I don't have a padded vise here, so I just took some cloth or rags that I had, and that's what I'm going to go with. That's one of the reasons I loosened this before I got into it. Now, as far as I can tell, I should just be able to take this off, and I'm just going to keep my fingers on it to control it. I'm not sure how much pressure is on the spring, if any. Okay. Okay, and there's a flat spot on there, so I need to take that to get the spring and the cap off. Okay, oh, and there's a plastic piece that I saw in some of the other videos, and I didn't know what that was. So, okay, now a flat something to get in there to hold that. Well, they have a special tool for that, but I think that 17mm wrench is going to do it. Now, of course, I'm going to run around and look for tools right away. And one of the things, Canadian Tire, Princess Auto, I bought this nice set of ratchet end wrenches, and in the metric set, they don't have a 17. My goodness. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to be out of camera here for a little bit. That's what happens when you're not as prepared as you should be. Let's see. Another 17 mil, and I know I have one. There we go. A brief little excursion. Okay, now this should come off, and look at that. There it is. Okay. I wonder if I need to grip that anymore. That's all pretty, like, finger tight. Cool. I don't know if you can see that. Okay. So, whoop, there's the cap. See if you can see that. And everything looks really good. The O-rings look good. That's what happens when you don't drive a bike and don't do maintenance on it. I'm kidding, of course. Okay, so I have no specs for this bike, so I am going to carefully measure the oil that's in here. Now, I don't think this is going to be right, because this fork seal has leaked forever. This is just going to be enough to make a mess. And it's not great. I guess I don't think this has been changed. Well, this is embarrassing. I've owned this bike for probably 20 plus years, and I've never changed it. Now, in reality, only the first few years that we had it when my son was home, and technically this was his bike. And then it got ridden. But once he went up to his 250, what we did is we got rid of I had an 86 CR125R, and I bought that one new. But I bought it kind of in the spring of 87. So it was technically a model year old, but it was new. And I bought that, and then we kept the two newer bike. Well, we kept the newest bike, and got rid of my 250. So, but anyway, that's not good. We'll put that away. I'm going to keep that. Okay, so now I think the spring comes out. Oh, I should have done that differently. There we go. Okay. Now there's a tapered end to this spring. Can you see that? Woo! That goes up. So I'm going to lay that down in particular order here so that I don't mess this up. I don't think the spring can go in the other way, but okay. And when you're doing a job like this, refreshments. Just don't pour oil or gas in any of these containers. That'd be bad. Okay, so now I've got that done. Springs out. I don't think anything else falls out now, but I'm going to check. Nope, we're good. Okay, now I believe I need to go to the bottom. And I'm going to turn you around. And I'm going to put in a vise like that. And another thing to have around is plenty of shop towels. Because this is still leaking and I don't want my shop floor all coated in oil. So, okay, now I think, okay, one thing I didn't do, I didn't zero out the clickers or anything, because in my view, I'm not tampering with any of that. So if I leave it, it should be the way it was. I hope I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'll let you know. So I'm going to go again, take an off-camera excursion. Oh, yeah, and you can remember from my videos that I've been working on my toolbox stuff here. So here's some sockets. Here's a ratchet. Those are... Okay, I think I've got... I hope I have a socket big enough for that. That would probably be 17, I would think. 19... 17. I hope I'm right there. Oh no, that's considerably bigger. Okay, that could bring a pause to the action here. So I think the biggest socket I have is a 19, and it's perfect. You can tell I don't do this all the time, so I don't really have the tools that I need. Okay, now I'm going to have to change this a bit. It's just spinning, so I think if I put the... If I put it in like that, so it can't spin, impact. Yeah. Okay. Now there's a needle in there, but it doesn't come out. It's one piece. That looks pretty dirty. I'm going to clean that out. Yeah, that adjuster needs some TLC. Okay, so now I think... Ooh, what just came flying out there? Oh, there we go. Okay, that, oh yeah, that would have gone... Where is my piece? Yes, that was on there like that. Okay. Okay, so now I think I'm to the point where I just... Whoops. Let's maybe take the damper rod out. Okay. Set that on the TV remote. Important to do. Okay, I think... Oh, I know. I'm sorry. I'm missing a step. I did that too soon. Unfortunately, now I need another tool that I don't have here. That is beginning to be the common theme of my existence today. Having things, but not having things. Okay, well, I'm just going to use this. Because these seals, this is all shot anyway. Okay, so I'm going to take the dust cap off. And there's a snap ring in there. And that's what I forgot about. Hope I didn't damage anything. I don't think I did. Okay, I don't know if you can see it in there, but there's a wavy ring in there, a keeper. And I need to get that out before this comes apart. I feel like an idiot now. That wasn't smart at all. Oh, come on. Maybe we'll have to put you back in the vise. What I should do is make some wooden jaws for this vise. Nope, I'm going to take an off-camera excursion again. Okay, let's try this. Nope, let's not try that. That's not good. This one. Okay. Yeah, it's coming out. Not as easy as I thought it would. In the videos that I watched, they made it look so easy. And it's not as easy as I thought it. There we go. Once you kind of get it popped. And now I probably put extra pressure on this by slamming it like I did. Not cool. But when you do this and you're not a service technician or a mechanic or somebody that does this on a semi-regular basis, you're going to make mistakes. Okay, so now I should be able to. There we go, it's part. Okay, so this, the upper looks really good. I'm going to clean it outside again and get it nice and clean. And okay, there's I think this is the bushing here, and that looks really good. My goodness. Like I say, the complete lack of maintenance. Oh, maybe this is here. Well, that's not as good. I think if I were really doing this well, this would be a good time to replace those. Okay, so now I've got to take this end off. See if I can show that to you. You need to kind of get a little bit of a screwdriver in there and just kind of wiggle it open and pull it off at the same time, if you can do that. Oh my goodness, it's not happening. Come on. Okay, that isn't working, obviously. Maybe a bigger screwdriver. Again, off camera. See, I told you I'd have to get a few things. That just, I just can't seem to figure out everything I'm going to need. And again, that boils down to being a rookie. There we go. When all else fails, get a bigger screwdriver. Or hammer. Okay, now what I'm going to do, which is really important, is I'm going to lay this stuff down in order and finish off my beverage. Okay, so I think this is the bushing. Yeah, that's next in line. And then there's a metal, thick metal washer. That's next in line. and then the fork seal. It actually doesn't even look that bad. I wonder if I would have replaced or just taken a piece of film and cleaned it, if I would have got away with that. No, it's damaged on the backside, I think. I'm not sure. But anyway, it's going out. So it's a part, disassembly. I did this in real time. So whatever it says on the camera, that's how long it took me to do it. But now I'm going to clean everything, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to reassemble it. Okay, and we're back. So off camera, I went and had lunch, and I cleaned inside and out very thoroughly. I dragged a cloth through it and pushed it through with some welding rod, and the inside's nice and clean. That's what I wanted. The other thing that I didn't do, and I kind of by accident, the I don't know, cartridge assembly or whatever this is, I all of a sudden realized to my chagrin that there was oil in it. So I emptied the oil into the container to make sure I got all the old oil out of the fork. So now I'm going to start assembling. And one of the things that I didn't do and I should have done, I thought I was careful keeping track of the way parts came out and everything. One of my weaknesses is determining which side of the oil seal goes to the oil and which goes to the air. So yeah, I have a video that I can look at and they can tell me that, but one of the more useful wait a second here. One of the more useful ways is if I look at the impressions in the old seal, I can tell where, I think I can tell where this metal clip was. So, and then when I look at the package, the instructions in the package, really well written translation from Chinese or from Japanese, is the brand marking on the seal goes to the air side. So the brand marking, where's my new seal? Okay, and the brand marking is on this side. So basically, where the spring is, that goes to air. So the seal goes in on the fork like this, and this is to the oil side. So I hope I get that right, because that would be bad if I didn't. Okay, so now it's time to start assembling. And I want to make sure that I get my old parts out of here now that I'm not going to put back in. And the one thing that I don't have that maybe a person should have is those, there's a plastic slide-on cover that you can put on here to protect your seals from the sharp edges. Well, I don't have that, but I figure just wrapping a section here with electrical tape, yes, this way, just wrapping a little bit of electrical tape around it should provide, and I'll maybe put a little bit of oil on everything here yet, but it should provide a good surface to slide things over. I think that'll be good right there. Okay. Yeah, that's much smoother. Okay. All right, so then the dust seal is the first thing to go on. And remember, your fork is going like this, so the dust seal really can only go one way, but you're going to slide it on this leg, not on this one. So I am going to lubricate things a little bit. I think one of these was opened, maybe not this one. No, not that one either. Okay, so then I'm cracking these. I bought this all in anticipation of doing this a while ago. And like I said, I just procrastinated and never got there. Okay, so I am going to put some lubrication on everything as it goes together. And maybe just a little bit around the top ring so it slides in place. And then I'm going to put that there, and I'm going to clean my hands off. Okay, so this goes on like this. Yeah, that tape really helps. Okay, so that's on. I think is the next thing the clip. The clip, and then the seal. Okay, see if I can remember what I just explained. Sometimes I'm not the sharpest here, but okay, so we want this side. The name side of the seal goes to this side here. I'm quite certain that that's correct. There we go. Yes, that looks correct. Okay, now I'm kind of fussy. My hands need to be clean and dry. Yeah, I could put gloves on, but that's not my style. So now I'm going to take the tape off. That worked really well. And maybe I'll buy some of those fork seal covers yet. I don't know. It's nice to have all the stuff. The first time I did this, I didn't have any tools at all. And I just made things out of wood because I'm a builder, I'm a carpenter. So I just made things out of wood, and that is just wonderful. Okay, now okay, I did take this out in order. Is this in next? Okay, I set things down in order here, but I think my order got a little bit messed up. So I'm going to take a break. I gotta sit here and cipher, and I don't want this video to be an hour long. So I will be back. Sorry, I will be back. Okay, and I'm back, and I just needed to get clear in my head what went next. This is the dust seal, the clip, the oil seal. Next goes this ring. It's larger washer, and that just slides over top. And then the small bushing, and I'm going to put a little bit of oil on that. Oh, come on. I just don't like having metal on metal contact when this goes back together. So we'll give that a little bit of oil. That slides on. And last but not least, the wider clip or the wider bushing slides on, and it locks in the top here. It gotta kind of get this right. I wish maybe I'll come over and do it this way. and then you can see a little bit better. This was the one I needed to get that bigger screwdriver for, but putting it on shouldn't be a problem. And it snaps in like that. There we go. That's it. So now this tube is ready to slide into this tube. So one of the things I wish I had was some soft jaws for my vise. And being a woodworker, I think I'll make a pair out of wood for at least one vise. And but for today, we are going to do things just like this. Maybe just one rag in there instead of all of them. These tubes are a little tougher than I give them credit for. There we go. Okay, now I think this is all good to go. So we're going to slide that in, and now the oil seal needs to be driven in. There, it's flush. Okay, now we're going to use a tool that I have never used before. I bought this during COVID, thinking that I would be rebuilding all my bikes during that time, and I never got around to it. That looks like about the right size. Okay, and this is DRC hardware, and it's for multiple fork diameters, because I didn't know what diameter fork these were when I bought this. So I just bought a universal set, and to be honest, I have never used this, so it'll take me a while to get everything right, I'm sure. There we go. Okay, that's a little different than I thought it would be. And then we're just going to slide this up and put this together like that. That snap ring or whatever that is going to keep falling. That's no good. The first time I did these seals, remember I said I was a woodworker? Well, I made myself this out of wood. Ay, that just isn't going very good. I am not liking that at all. Something isn't right. And we're back. That was a little bit stressful. Okay, I'll show you what happened and how I overcame it. All right. This piece here on the upper tube is a separate piece. It's got a kind of a snap clip that it clips on, and as I was tapping this in, I must have knocked that clip out of its groove, and this thing was slowly settling. So what I finally did is okay, I'm not proud of what I did at first. I guess when all else fails, beat on it, but don't beat on these parts. I took it a little further than I feel good about, but I didn't do any damage to anything, so that's good. Finally, I pulled it all apart again, and I snapped this thing up and made sure that this collar was engaged properly, and then put it in the vise in such a way that it only rested on this collar. And while I had this apart, I lubed up the outside of everything really well. I had done the inside really well, but I hadn't done the outside really well. So now I used I used my fork tool here. I've kind of figured out how it works now. These things just clip in there like that, so you can use all sizes. I wish this surface here was a little fatter, but it worked. Once I had everything lubricated properly, make sure you put lubrication on the outside of those bushings and the seal. That is important because I needed a little bit, and without that lubrication and this sliding, I didn't get that little bit. So now I know how these things work. They stay together kind of like that, but since they're universal, this won't always be tight. I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing, but it works. And this is the first time it's been out of the box, so I had not played with this at all before this video. Would I buy this again? If I knew what size my forks were before I ordered this, I would have just bought the one for these forks because I think that's easier. But this works. So if you work with a lot of different bikes and you only do it occasionally, that might not be a bad set. So anyway, I have got this. The seal's in, the snap ring's in. Sorry I didn't show that to you. You just push it in. Put the seal in till you can see the groove for the snap ring, and then put the snap ring in, and it clicked into place, no problem. The only thing I have left to do yet to get this back together is to put the dust seal in place. And I think I'm going to learn from the error of my ways previously, and I'm going to put a little bit of lubrication on there so that and this should just push in. And nothing seems to have worked the way it should now in the afternoon here. Disassembly went really well, and this isn't going like I'd like it to. Oh, that's why it's way out of whack. And we're going to put more oil in. Oil is the key. I know. Oh, well, hallelujah, it's in. That took a lot of time. I'm going to edit out some of the bigger things. But finally, what I ended up doing is clamping this in the vise and taking half of this thing, because it would want to slip in unevenly, and I didn't like that. So, but finally in the end, I didn't think I had a choice. So one end was in, and then I just pounded the other side in with this and a hammer. Like, I'll show you. I'll leave a little bit of that in. It'll be a little bit of a mess. But so anyway, now the leg is back together. Finally. Boy, that took a little longer than I expected. I think had I realized that this was in two pieces, that might have helped. But the dust seal, I don't know. Yeah, it's in. Just want to make doubly sure that it's in. Okay, so I think everything's working like it should. So I'm just going to reposition here. Sorry about that. I'm just going to clean up a little bit and get things in order, and then we're going to put this thing back together. Okay, we'll get there. Well, I got a little bit ahead of myself again. I was walking around the shop finding my graduated cylinders and looking for my stuff to add oil to this thing, and I got thinking, man, oh man, keeping track of that damping rod and the spring separately, that's going to be a challenge. So then it came to me that I can put the cap onto the damping rod, and then still add oil. So, okay, that's what I'm going to do now. And I have this started already because you know how I work on camera. I can't get anything done. So it would have taken me a while, but this didn't take all that long to get on. And I can just do it with my hand at first. And eventually we'll come to the end. There we go. And now again, I'm going to find my other 17 millimeter wrench and torque it. There. Now I can add oil. Because, yeah, I was wondering how I was going to put this fork up and be able to add oil at the same time. I don't know how much oil this took new. Like one of the YouTubers that I watched, and I'm going to leave you not a link, I'll just tell you who I was watching through this. The bike or the forks he was working on were about the same vintage as this, and the closest that I found on the internet to this, there were changes between the two models, but his were closest to this. So I really appreciated him, and I'm going to recognize him in the closing of this video. So again, keeping track of your old stuff is important. I took about 400 milliliters out of here. Now, I would guess that between the loss of fluid over the years and the strip on the floor that I made, I think I'm going to put in 500 cc's. I'm not a racer. I'm, like the guy in the video that I watched says too, like, this is an old bike. It's not that fussy. So I'm gonna arbitrarily choose 500 and pour that maybe 450. We'll see. We'll pour that in my Princess Auto beaker. Do I 450? It's at about 400 right now. Okay, we'll split the difference. My goodness, I think I'm a head case here. Okay, in we go. Oh, that's heavy. Okay. I believe you're supposed to pump them for a while. I have no idea what I'm doing right now. Well, I think that's going to be good. And my 17mm wrench again. And there we go. We've got a fork leg. Okay. Well, you've seen putting it on the bike isn't hard. It's all marked, and I have the other one on. So that's going to be easy. So I think we're going to just wrap this video up. I am not a professional. I am not a professional. The last time I did a fork leg like this was this bike. The other leg, I should have done them both right away. That was maybe 20 years ago. So I'm definitely not a pro. I'm a woodworker. That's kind of what I do. But I still like to ride my motorcycles every now and then. I don't do it as much as I should. But this summer, I'm hoping that I'm going to get some of the mechanical work out of the way in winter so that when spring comes, instead of doing everything and trying to get everything working again, I'm just going to hop on, kick it, and go for a ride. Because that's how things have to work for me now. Yeah, I know even in retirement it's like that. So we're going to close this video off. I mentioned a video that I was kind of watching during this whole process that I did. And the one I watched was a Honda CR125R 89 to 90 fork seal replacement by Barry Bollier. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, Barry. That video was super helpful. This fork that he took apart was the closest to the fork on this 125, the 91 125. The only difference I could see was the cartridge at the bottom. His had a cartridge, mine just had a bolt, basically, well, with holes and stuff in it for, you know, different settings. But his had a longer, I think there was a small spring on it. It was a little different setup. So companies like Showa and Kayaba, they've made forks forever, and I think they're kind of like the Chevys of the fork world. They're all basically the same, but they all make little changes here and there. So Barry, a shout out, thank you for putting that video together. It was 10 years ago, but it was very, very helpful. So with that in mind, I guess the only thing that I'm going to say about today's work is, yeah, I struggled a little bit at times. Things didn't always go as easy for me as they did in the instructions, and I'm not sure why that was. I was using a seal driver that I'd never even taken out of the box before. I didn't pre-do a lot of this stuff. It was kind of raw. And I'd encourage you, do as much of your own maintenance as you can. A fork seal replacement is not above the average carpenter, okay? You can do it. So set aside a little bit of time, carefully disassemble things. If you have to, take your camera and take pictures of things as you disassemble them. Save all your fluids. Remember the order that things went in and came out in, and set them on the table in that order. Clean everything very, very well, and lubricate everything inside and out when you're putting it all back together. And anybody can do this. So you don't have to be a motorcycle mechanic to do this. So on that note, I'm going to close this off. This is a very different video for this channel. Some of you may like it, some of you may not like it, and you know what? Barry's video, which I think is probably much better than mine, has 10,000 views in 10 years. So maybe it's one of those you look for from time to time and is helpful when you need it. So on that note, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.